We've been really excited. Obviously last week going 2-0 against two conference opponents and taking care of home court was big for us. But I think the biggest thing was Saturday. We've been getting big leads in games, but we've been giving them up. This was the first time where we felt like in a while we played a full 40 minutes, and we're getting back to playing a full 40 minutes of ACU basketball. So in that regard, we're really excited about that. So I just think that we're kind of trending in the right direction, and it's just getting back to the little things that Coach has been talking about, ACU basketball, and just making multiple effort plays and things like that. And so those little things have just kind of been the difference in the last 5 games.
I think after those first 2 losses to SFA and Sam, Coach Tanner was talking about possibly some rotation changes, and we've seen that, I think, over the last couple of weeks, especially with guys like Jay Sean getting more playing time. Where do you think you stand on the rotation? Are you kind of getting something settled for what you hope is a run in March?
Yeah, I think it always shifts. It's a long season, and the guys go through different things. So you've always got to be ready to adapt and change. But Jay Sean's growing up. He's not a freshman anymore. He's played over 20 college basketball games, so he's able to take a heavier load in those minutes, and we're trusting him because he's earned those minutes with the way that he's played over these last few weeks. And we've changed some lineups. We've gone small a little bit to get started and just kind of provide some energy early with Tobias playing the 4 and Arion at the 5. We've really liked that. So I think both of those things have really helped us. But if we see a need for a change, we'll adjust. It's a long season, so we've always got to be ready for that as well.
You mentioned Arion. The game he had this weekend, I think he had a career high in the first half. He was balling out. What have you seen from him and his growth now in year 3?
Yeah, Arion's a guy, he's never been afraid of the moment, even when you go back to his freshman year. He's a guy that's always provided energy off the bench, and his role has just changed, and he's grown and developed. And he's always been one of our best passers, and he's a really unselfish guy. So it's been great to see him actually take on a heavier scoring load these last few weeks. And he's always been capable of it, but I think he's just taken what the defense has given him. And his teammates did a good job of finding him in the open spots, especially in their zones and stuff like that this weekend. And he did a great job of just making the right basketball play like he always does. It's just, for whatever reason, it's been more of a scoring role and a scoring reads these last few weeks for him. And he's done a great job of just stepping up and taking that role.
So you just mentioned Arion, but what I want to talk about is Damian Daniels. He really used his size this past week against a lot of those big guys. About him, he really stepped up, I feel like, off the bench this week.
Yeah, Damian's, he's been fearless since the day he got in here to ACU. To see his growth and change over the course of the last few years has been awesome. But he's a guy that a lot of his opportunities start off of his defense. He creates a lot of turnovers and stuff like that in transition, and that gives him opportunity to go challenge those guys at the rim on the other side. And he's done a really good job. You're starting to see him make more plays in the half court, being aggressive. And really it all started with him being unselfish and turning down some of those shots and finding his teammates, and now the floor's starting to open up for him. And he's done a great job of understanding that this is a bigger league that we're playing in this year. And so there was an adjustment period, so he had to go find other guys first. And now things are starting to open up for him. So we're really excited that he's kind of just trusted us this entire process, and now it's starting to turn into success for him.
So next is Tarleton. What do you know about them so far?
I'm probably the only guy that's actually on our staff or on our team that has actually played at Tarleton. I was a Division II player and coach at Midwestern State, so I really know the environment really well. They're going to do a great job. They always have a great atmosphere. They're very proud of their programs, their sports programs there, and they really support them. So we know we're going into a really hostile environment, and it's an old rivalry here with ACU being so close geographically. So we're really excited about that. It's always fun to play in a tough crowd and a really active environment. So we're really excited about that and the challenge. And they're playing really good basketball. Coach Gillespie's doing a great job with them, and we know it's going to be a tough challenge, and everybody's fighting for seeding right now in the WAC. So it's going to be a tough game. We're going to have to go fight it out for 40 minutes on the road, try to find a way to get a win.
Thank you. Yeah, you just mentioned fighting for seeding. So right now you guys are at the 6th seed. So how important will it be potentially to get that 6th seed, or even work your way up to the 4th seed, to even get that single bye or that double bye heading into that tournament?
Yeah, anytime you can play less games throughout in the tournament in March, it's better. It's tough to go and win 5 games in 5 days if that's what you have to do. So if we can only have to play 3 or 4, it just makes it a lot better. It's a lot more realistic. Your probability of coming out of there successfully and on the right end is much greater. So that stuff's really big, but at the end of the day, we know it's a one big league, and you've got to be playing your best basketball in March. And so that's what we're trying to do, just get a little bit better every single week and try to get better and ready for March.
Yeah, and then one last thing for me. You guys have a week off, so you guys have a little bit of a break before y'all's next game. So what do practices look like this week? How are you guys potentially resting to get ready for Saturday?
Yeah, it's February. We got some older guys, some fifth year, some COVID guys that are kind of in uncharted waters. A lot of times they wouldn't be playing college basketball. So rest and recovery is huge. They were off yesterday. We'll probably take 1 day off this week. But today we're going to get back on the floor, get a lot of shots up, get back to cleaning some things up, just doing the little things that we've been talking about these last 2 or 3 weeks, and make sure that we stay sharp on those things. And then Wednesday and Thursday we'll really start gearing up for Tarleton and for our opponent this week. So.